My name is Joshua Dellinger. I'm the Experience Director for McIntosh Group, and I oversee the world of McIntosh Townhouse. This is our Experience Center and flagship showroom. So what we do here is that, being McIntosh Group, we have some of the most iconic and beloved audio brands within the industry housed under one umbrella. So under McIntosh Group, we have McIntosh Laboratories, Audio Research, and Sonus FABER loudspeakers, also Sumico Audio. So we wanted to create a very unique environment, this being a 5-story townhouse in the heart of Soho, to encompass and show all of our brands in a very unique environment and a very intimate space, to expose people to what it is that we do, but also to show art, design, and how these products can live in a specific space. So in this room here, being that Sonus FABER is our predominant loudspeaker manufacturer, many of our rooms are using Sonus FABER loudspeakers as well with McIntosh. McIntosh also makes loudspeakers. So in some of the other rooms, we also are using McIntosh loudspeakers. But in this specific setup, we wanted to show predominantly a stereo system, but also have the capabilities to do a little bit of multi-channel depending on the specific use case. So in this room, we're using the Sonus FABER HOMAGE Tradition loudspeakers, which we have here in this beautiful red finish. Just a really exquisite speaker. And then on top of that, we are using some of the reference McIntosh pieces. So we have a 1200 watt single channel amplifier that's powering this loudspeaker, same with the other. We're using our reference vacuum-tube preamp. So this is a 2-chassis dual mono preamp. Also our power controller and power conditioner. We have a multi-channel power amplifier that's powering the back channels, mostly when we're doing distributed audio or we're kind of just entertaining, we want background music to fill the entire space. We're also using a multi-channel cinema processor, and then we have our DAC that's taking care of all of our digital sources such as streaming or our CD transport, and then obviously we have a beautiful McIntosh turntable, which is the MT10, for any sort of analog playback in this specific setting. So great, as I mentioned earlier, we have vignettes and we have product all over the space. So I'd love to show you another room. So it's a lot more intimate, it's a little bit of a smaller space, so we have the system that's appropriate for that. So why don't you guys follow me? Yeah. So in this room here, more Sonus FABER loudspeakers. So this is the OLYMPICA Nova 3. So this is one of our newest loudspeaker models from Sonus FABER. So this is a brand new version of the OLYMPICA series, which has been one of our most popular and kind of highly regarded loudspeakers within its price sector. Audio Research as well. So Audio Research, as I mentioned before, is a brand, but a lot of times we'll show different brands within the same system. So we have here, this is the McIntosh D1100. So this is our flagship D to A converter. So this particular DAC, dual mono design, very much like our flagship vacuum-tube preamplifier. So this piece was really designed in conjunction with the C1100, which you guys saw in the other room. So really, really beautiful piece. And it can decode just about any sort of high resolution file that you want to throw at it. Right here, the Audio Research. This is the VT80SE. This is a vacuum tube stereo amplifier, produces 75 watts per channel. We have a dedicated Phono preamplifier for this PRO-JECT turntable. Excellent turntable. So this is the Xtension 10 with the 10-inch carbon fiber tone arm. As well, we have our line stage preamplifier from Audio Research, which is called the LS28. And then we also have a CD player and DAC from Audio Research as well. So this room, it's always kind of changing. Sometimes we'll bring different types of speakers in. So in this particular situation, we're highlighting the OLYMPICA Nova. But as well, this room is also very appropriate for something like a bookshelf speaker like we have here, which is the Electa Amator from Sonus FABER as part of our 35th anniversary. so we're gonna head down to the 4th floor listening room now. So let's go on downstairs. I mean, as you can see, as you move through the space, the environment's very, very unique. So you see some of the really amazing and unique details of the house. We'll come through here. So this used to be the master bedroom. So when you come into this room, you can see here, as we flip around, more audio research. So in this particular room, we really want to highlight a lot of Audio Research's reference product. So what we have here is one of the newest vacuum tube amplifiers from Audio Research, which is the Reference 160M. So this is a mono channel version. We also just recently came out with a stereo version. So this produces 150 watts per channel. So we have a dedicated amplifier for each speaker. This is the Sonus FABER El Cremonese. So this sits several steps up from the OLYMPICA Nova series that we saw upstairs. So this is the first step into our reference loudspeaker range. So this is the smallest, if you could believe that, of the reference series. And then we have several steps above that are larger speakers, even for larger spaces, for full range capabilities, obviously. What else you're seeing in terms of components is we have the Audio Research Reference 3. This is a dedicated phono preamplifier for this PRO-JECT turntable. This is our line stage preamp, which is called the Reference 6. Again, all of the products that you see here are all vacuum tube based. That's really what Audio Research's focus is. These are all handmade in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So really, really exquisite pieces where McIntosh focuses on many things, where they do lifestyle product, they do multi-channel product, they do vacuum tube, they do solid state. McIntosh does a lot of things really well. Audio Research is very, very focused on one thing, is creating really fantastic stereo components that are all vacuum tube based. Get people really, really close to the music. This right here is the Reference 9 SE. Now this particular product here is a vacuum tube based CD player and digital analog converter. So a lot of times when we're not playing vinyl, we're streaming high resolution music, predominantly through Tidal, Qobuz, those types of high resolution streaming services, and we use Roon as our way that we actually serve the music to different environments and different areas in the room. But obviously we do love to listen to vinyl, and we love analog as well. So as you spin around this room, you see it's a beautiful space. It's a really, really relaxing environment to sit down, relax, have a glass of wine, listen to some music, to understand these products a little bit better. And now, if you want to join me, we're going to walk downstairs to our largest room. So we can start here. So this is a small lounge, kind of offshoot of the main living space. So when this was a home, it's a very, very unique home. But to tell you a little bit more about the history of the space, the building originally was a Con Edison sub-power station in the early 1900s. So it was actually renovated into a home, a very unique home that is, in the 90s. And then McIntosh Group, we took over the space in 2015, and we've been operating it ever since. So with that being said, we want to create different little listening environments to inspire people. So this is one of those environments. This is an all McIntosh vacuum tube based system. So we're using one of our most iconic pieces, which is the MC275. So what's great about the MC275, it has a lot of flexibility. So it's a 75 watt stereo vacuum tube amplifier. But being that it's stereo, it also gives you the capabilities to run it in what's called a bridged or parallel mode. So you can actually combine the two channels and get more output and use it as a monoblock, essentially. So that's what we're doing in this particular situation, because we want to create a beautiful environment from an aesthetic standpoint, but also from a sonic standpoint. So we have one 275 that's running in mono, that's driving the Sonus FABER OLYMPICA Nova 2. So this is a slightly smaller version than the OLYMPICA Nova 3 that you saw on the 5th floor. So what you have here is you have the same Silk Dome DAD tweeter. You also have your mid-range woofer, and you have a single woofer here. Slightly smaller cabinet, shorter, so it's Definitely a bit easier to place in smaller spaces, or if you just don't need that extra bass output, this is going to be an appropriate model. So moving through here again, we have our McIntosh power conditioner. So that's acting as a power conditioner and a power controller. So just basically monitoring the power output, but also it's going to clean your signal. So plugging in any sort of sources like your preamp, CD player, anything that's sensitive to noise is going to be key. The MT5 turntable, which is a fantastic turntable for your vinyl and analog collection. And then as well, we have our CD player for any sort of digital playback in that regard as well. So really, really beautiful system here. So this is called the MEN220. So this is essentially using the same room perfect technology that we use on some of our high-end multi-channel home theater processors, but this is only for stereo purposes. So if you have a room that's bright or difficult, or it's in a kind of unique environment that you want to have some specific room EQing capabilities, this is going to be a piece just for your stereo system. And the cool thing is, even if you have your system dialed in really well and you already have a pretty good room to deal with, this can also just take your room to that up degree. So this is going to take full measurements of your rooms, and it does many, many, many different positionings throughout the space, and it gets a full room knowledge, very similar to what we do with our multi-channel processors. So very, very cool piece. So this system's a lot of fun. So this is our McIntosh Cinema, which, you know, obviously we use this for a lot of our stereo listening. But this is a Dolby Atmos enabled cinema, and we're using a lot of our McIntosh reference loudspeakers in this specific system, along with amplification. So these are the granddaddy McIntosh in our lineup. These are the McIntosh 2.1K. So these are our newest line array loudspeakers from McIntosh. So we're using these as our two front left and right speakers in the cinema. So these are rather unique if you've never seen one of these before. So these particular speakers, as I mentioned earlier, are line array, so you can see that the frequency is actually split across many, many drivers. So this gives you a different type of dispersion, but also the sound can travel over a much longer distance. So what you have here is your upper mid-range drivers. You also have your tweeters, and it's a symmetrical design, being that you have a dedicated right speaker and left speaker, so the tweeters are facing into the room. You also have your mid-bass woofers here on the side, which are carbon fiber drivers. And you have 6 8-inch woofers. So these guys are actually the way you assemble these, because you're probably wondering, how do you get these 7-foot tall, 500-pound loudspeakers into your room? Broken up into 3 pieces. So you have your lower module here, which is basically cut off from here down to the base. Then you have your upper module, and then you also have your mid-range module here that would then strap on, and then everything's umbilical together. So it's a really intelligent design, and aesthetically, from an industrial design standpoint, a really, really beautiful loudspeaker from McIntosh. So yeah, we're using this as our 2 main loudspeakers. We also have a matching center channel, and these 3 mains are using our largest and most powerful amplifiers. So these are called the MC 2kWs. 2kW meaning 2,000 watts. So you have a 1,000 watt power module, same thing with below, and then you have an output module. And these guys here are going to combine those 2 channels for 2,000 watts, but they also have the capabilities of doing 8,000 watt dynamic punches. So I would believe probably more than enough juice for anybody to pressurize their home cinema. We have the same thing on the center channel. So we have the left, the center, and the right channel that are using the 2,000 watts. And I mentioned that it's an Atmos cinema, so we have side surrounds, we have our front height, we have our rear height, we have our back surrounds that's actually tucked by the BARCO low-key 4K projector. So all that additional amplification that you see in this particular system are used to drive those additional loudspeakers. So we are using also our top-of-the-line cinema processor, which is a 16-channel processor that does room perfect room equalization on every single channel. And then also in terms of our low frequency, we're utilizing obviously the front mains that are full range loudspeaker, but we're also using, if you can see here, the Sonus FABER GRAVIS 6 subwoofer, which is the largest subwoofer, has 2 active 12-inch drivers in this particular subwoofer. So again, more than enough to pressurize this room. So it's a very high resolution, great sounding cinema. So yeah, we're really proud of this system. It's not very often that you walk into any sort of home or showroom and you're greeted by an indoor swimming pool, but that's exactly what we have here at the McIntosh Townhouse. So the cool thing is that we don't really use this so much as a listening environment. It's mostly for background music, but we use this really as an art gallery. And what we do is we revolve the art about every 2 or 3 months. And as part of having the art in residency here, we hold an exhibition for the artists. So it's great because, I mean, for us, we really believe that with music, there's art, and art, there's music, and it's really one and the same. And for us, it's a way to give back to the artist community, but it's a great way to also have prospective clients come into our space, but also to share what it is that we do and music with everybody. So come on in, I'll show you, because it is rather interesting. So we use this, like I said, as an art gallery. And so we have McIntosh loudspeakers that are lining the wall. Like I said, a lot for background music, because by no means is this really a critical listening environment. But the pool gets used for all different types of things. And what's really unique is that being that we have an indoor swimming pool in the heart of Manhattan, this pool has been used for lots of different film shoots. So I don't know if you're familiar with the 2nd season of Mr. Robot. Many of the shots were here. Luke Cage, which is a Netflix show, but many different types of films have been shot here. Okay, so we've done some really cool stuff. We've had like synchronized swimmers. We've had girls that are dressed as mermaids swimming around here. We've done fashion shows where they actually put an acrylic runway on the pool. So it's really, really cool that we have this space, and it's a way for us, again, to be able to have something unique and interesting within our environment to show people and to share with our clients that come through the space.